Okay, so I put in a link to a video that Beachbody, the research and development team, did, and they talked about alcohol last week. So I don't know how many people had a chance to watch it, and if you didn't, we're going to talk about it anyway. So I took some notes and we can kind of discuss it. And I know we've talked about alcohol a lot, but I also think it's like they had a little different take on a few things that I'd like to talk about. And I just think it's one of those things where you hear things when you're ready, right? So there's a lot of stuff we talk about a lot on this call, a lot of common themes that keep coming up. So, just kind of go at it with that kind of management. Maybe you'll take a nugget away from this and implement it in what you're doing. And, I just kind of, whenever I go into a call, I heard someone say this, just go into it as if you're going to get a nugget for you, right? Like there's going to be something in the call that is meaningful for you to do, implement, start on, whatever, right? Whatever's happening. And don't worry about trying to do it all or figure it all out. Just take that one nugget and run with it. So that's what we'll work on tonight. So with this call, it's Dr. Emily and Trevor. I don't remember his last name. I don't know what a CSCS is. Does he say what that is ever, Sue? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
So
I'll see if I can find it though.
Yeah, Dr. Emily will basically go through and research our stuff. So the reason like we're now able to cook with Shakeology is they went through and did the research to see what nutrients survive. Does the protein handle baking that's in Shakeology? Can you freeze it? Can you heat it? All of those things. And so each month they're going through and taking a topic and diving deeper into it. And so well, I don't remember the last time we talked about alcohol, probably last fall when we talked about this one podcast. But I wanted to touch on it again just because I don't want to miss these nutrition kind of videos because I think they're really good and they're only like 25 minutes. And I'll put the link in with this call, or maybe Sue, if you wouldn't mind, I don't know if you can get the link now. I don't know if you're on your computer.
I am. I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Do you want me to put it in the chat here?
Yeah, just put it in the chat so people have it if they want to save it. And it's always on the Beachbody, just like their general Beachbody page, the one that's open to the public. So it's not like you have to be some kind of member in there. It's right on that front page. So one of the things they went over is how your body processes alcohol. And I like the fact that they didn't get too crazy in detail. I thought it was very digestible. There are lots of podcasts out there. One, the Model Health Show did one. And then this podcast we listened to last year, I think it was called the Huberman Lab. They go in super detail. So if you are into that and you want to know all the stuff that happens when it's digesting and how it works and what's going on, then just let me know. And I'm happy to pass those podcasts along so that you can get into the detail of it. So basically they went through and talked about the fact that alcohol is water and fat soluble. So what that means is it can enter any one of our cells. It's, like a lot of micronutrients or macronutrients, they're either water soluble or fat soluble. So meaning that's where they go. Like, let's take vitamin C. It's water soluble. So you can't retain too much vitamin C in a sense because it gets flushed out in your system. Whereas something that's fat soluble, that's going to take me a hot second to remember which one is. I feel like vitamin K is, but let's just say whatever is, right? A fat soluble, that is going to stay in your fat cells. And so it can be too much. So you just have to kind of, think about it in terms of this alcohol can just go wherever it wants. Okay. And what happens when you're digesting it is we have enzymes in our body that help us digest all kinds of things. And it turns ethanol, that's the alcohol is ethanol, turns it into acetaldehyde. I believe is how she said it, acetaldehyde. And that is an even more toxic version of ethanol. So when this is converted, your body prefers to burn it and get rid of it. It sees it as a toxic element, and it's using it as a fuel source. So no matter what else is being digested, it's going for the alcohol piece first. It's trying to burn through it, get it through your system. Now, if you are like, one of the things you can do to kind of help slow the process of alcohol hitting your system, like, is to have food at the same time. And it doesn't have to, I know there's this myth out there that, like, you need to have carbs or bread or something because it soaks up the alcohol. So you could be eating carrots, and it's still, in fact, that's got fiber. It's still helping. The fiber is going to help slow that digestion, slow everything down from just quickly rushing in to process it super fast. And then the alcohol hits your system faster.
Wait a minute. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Do you want it to hit faster, or do you not want it to?
That's up to you, Kathy. Like, if you're looking to get a buzz, then maybe you want to just let it roll, right? Don't eat.
Are you saying when you have alcohol, it leaves your body quickly?
It works on it first as an energy source. So if, like, let's say you're having bread and alcohol at the same time, it's going to work with that alcohol first. It's going to process it first and use it as the energy source before it goes to even a carb. I mean,
So
normally your body prefers carb.
So all that drinking I did last week, I got rid of it all?
Well, yes.
I didn't have
Like,
it with food most of the time.
but that means that maybe the things that you didn't use up went to fat storage because it was too busy burning up the alcohol.
Oh,
right?
Mhm.
So if it can't use up the other stuff for energy, that's where it's like, okay, we'll just store this over here for later because we can't use it right now. We're too busy burning up this margarita.
And do you hold more water when you drink alcohol?
You know,
Is that why I was bloated? I'm just wondering.
I haven't heard anybody specifically talk about that, and I don't know if it's because, like, with a coffee, it's actually a signal to your hormones not to hold on to water, and so people say it's a diuretic. It's not a diuretic. It's just that your body isn't retaining the water it might need. But with alcohol, I'm not exactly sure. So I'll look it up and see if I can find an answer to that.
I was holding water from something last week. I don't know.
Well, you were eating at restaurants though, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That could be the
Salt.
sodium level alone. I mean, that's
And
just
can
totally
just the
insane.
heat do it, like from the sun?
Oh yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I was blown
A
up. when we
climate
got home.
change. I mean, just a lot of things. I mean, travel, I get totally, like, puffy just from flying in an airplane.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I would say it could be, I mean, there could be a lot of things going on there.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see here. Oh, okay. So, and then, so yeah, when you're thinking about your alcohol consumption, think about it in terms of, like, I mean, if you're eating like a regular meal that you would normally eat, that will be just fine if you wanted to slow down how much that alcohol hits you. And again, that's kind of up to you, right? Like, if you're looking for a one hit, like, let's get a buzz on, then maybe you don't want to eat while you're drinking. If you're planning on driving at some point, then you want
So
to.
I'm a cheap date, it doesn't take
I
me
am
much.
too. I am too.
So I wonder, because I don't really drink that often, how does that all come into play as far as, I tend to get that buzz on a little quicker because I don't do it very often anymore.
But I think, I would love to know what expert opinions are on tolerance, because I don't really think there's a tolerance per se. I think the feeling more often. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you're getting used to the feeling, whereas if you don't do it very often, you're going to feel the change faster.
Quicker.
And
Yeah.
plus, I think it depends on, what your what you are eating, what the food levels are, because it can definitely be different times. And what the whole environment looks like. Because I don't know. I haven't heard any of these people talk too much about tolerance as an actual.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So I think some of it is like if you do drink often, there's something about it you want, right? And so
Mhm.
you're looking for that. And I think maybe you function like you get used to functioning feeling that way. Whereas if you
Mm.
don't do it very often, it does feel more strange,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting. Yeah.
That's my thought.
That,
Could be
that
totally
could
wrong.
be.
Could be
That could
totally
be.
wrong.
Mhm.
So
That
don't
sounds
take
good.
that as like the gospel. Okay. And then so as your body is we have these enzymes that help us burn things. As you get older, you have less of those enzymes. And so it does take your recovery is longer, you're burning, I don't know that your burning is more inefficient. Shimar talked about it in terms of the fact that you don't feel as well the next day. Like when you were 20 and you had some drinks, you could bounce back like that. When you're 40, 50, 60, you're not bouncing back in the same way after the same amount of alcohol.
Mhm.
And that was due to the lower amount of these enzymes. So she also talks about the fact that it is a central nervous system depressant. So a lot of people think, okay, I had a couple drinks that helps me relax and therefore helps me with my stress level and to sleep better. But it's actually the opposite. While you could, hi, Dottie. Well, you could fall asleep easier, your sleep is not as good.
Really?
So your deep sleep isn't as
Mhm.
good and your sleep quality is not as good. And so while it may feel like, oh, it helps me go to sleep, that might be true, like, because you're kind of sedated in a
Yes,
way,
yeah.
right?
Sedated, right?
Yeah, you're just kind of, you're chill. However, your sleep after that is not as good. And she said she's big on wearables. I use my watch for sleep. She has an Aura ring. I've been thinking about getting one of those because I think they're fascinating to see the data. But it is the same kind of thing as a watch. I believe it's a little more accurate for your sleep. And she said on the time, like even just not drinking one day, like if you're normally a 1 drink a day person or something and you don't drink one day, she's like, you will see a difference in your metrics in your sleep, even in that one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And we all know, because we've talked a lot about, quality sleep does affect our weight loss and how we feel, how we're training, our workouts, our cravings. So, if you're not getting as good a sleep chronically, that can also affect things. So one of the interesting things I thought they really kind of touched on moderation. And they were very and I agree with what they're doing here, because they don't want to be like you just shouldn't have any alcohol, even though the science points toward we probably shouldn't be drinking alcohol. But the point is that that is part of our society, that is part of what's happening around us. And the goal is to just not be judgmental about your choices with alcohol, but it's for you to be informed in a way that you can make a decision that works for you. So when we talk about moderation, that could be different for different people. Like moderation for me in alcohol is probably 2 to 3 drinks a month. Okay. Some people that might be a drink a day. My husband, probably a lot more than that on average. He likes his bourbon. So, it's one of those things where you have to figure out where do I want to be, right? Like, what is my goal with the time I'm putting in, with my eating, with my fitness, with how I want to feel, with my lifestyle? And then how is alcohol fitting into that? Is it okay? Do things feel like it's working, or does it feel like it's holding me back from something? So when you're thinking about moderation, those are the questions. It's really the questions of how is it affecting you personally, not, it's the whatever the government says it's okay to have 2 drinks a day or whatever, right? That it doesn't really matter. So, and one of the things we learned in this other podcast that we listened to, the Huberman Lab, is the word chronic. Chronic is really something you're repeating. So even me having, let's say, 1 drink a week, that's chronic. I'm consistently having 1 drink a week. Okay. So, you know, think about that too. Like, is there a habit? Like I know when we have our Friday afternoon happy hour in the neighborhood, like that tends to be a drinking time, right? So is there a habit that you're following, but maybe could be subbed in with something else? Like lately I've been subbing in some kombucha. Feel like I'm having just the same good time. But I'm having some fermented good stuff go in instead of alcohol. So you want to think about it in terms of that. Like, where is it serving you still? And it's really all about your relationship with it. I think what I recommend people do, and I think is really fascinating, is what happens if you were to take a break? Like, what happens if you're like, you know what, for the next month, I'm going to have a mocktail. I'm going to still do all the same things I do, but I'm just not going to have this piece. And it's kind of like when we've done things where we're not having artificial sweeteners, or when you do the gut protocol and you're not having some of those foods, right? Like if you look at it as an experiment, not like this, I have to, you know, X this out, but it'll be an interesting time for you to see the difference in how you feel, because at a minimum 4 weeks is kind of what's needed to reverse things. It's more like 6-8 weeks and even longer depending on how long you've been chronically drinking. Okay, so it gives you time to then repair, and there is repairs possible. There is damage that can be undone with breaks from alcohol. And so it's one of those things where I think, you know, just for your own like curiosity about how your body works and how you work, it gives you a chance to look at the times that you are drinking or that you would have had a drink, right? How you feel around those times. Is it emotional? Is it a social situation? And then just how, like, what is changed? Are you sleeping better? Are you training better? Is your gut health better? I don't know, like all of those things, right? Because those are all things that are affected by alcohol. So has anybody done like a break from alcohol for a bit?
I haven't had any since Christmas, so that's kind of a break.
Yes, it is. It's almost 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually don't drink anyway. Like
Okay.
on vacation, I go, it's all free. So
Right.
you have it.
Can't pass
You
it
know?
up
You
when
get
it's
to
free.
taste
You can't.
everything.
It's
And you
all
don't
about
have
the
to drink,
free.
and you don't have to drink the whole thing because you didn't pay for it. So
That's true. That's
True.
true. Yeah.
mm.
I don't usually, unless it's maybe every 3 or 4 months. I've had more since, I don't know, fall, probably once a month at least, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't usually.
Yeah. So, and I think it's just one of those things that is kind of good to, and you can do this with anything, right? Like, you know, if you're like, I'll use you as an example. Sue loves her M&Ms. So if Sue
Mhm.
were to just take a break for a month from her M&Ms, like you kind of then see, well, when am I like thinking about it? When do I want it? What are the situations where it like, I feel like I need it? And it's really just kind of a nice little experiment on you and where you're at with things. And then you can go into it and decide what does work for you. You know, what's going to fit in your lifestyle with whatever, you know, you can do this experiment with whatever you feel is a habit you want to change. So let me see if I have anything else on alcohol. Yeah, I think, I mean, and then just, I had a couple of quick tips here, like when you do drink, it's really, if you have hydrate's fantastic at the end of your evening because it's got electrolytes, so it can just help put those things in that help you recover from a hangover. But continuing to drink water through your evening, spacing out drinks with water is great. Having some food when you consume so that it's not just a straight shot, unless that's where you're headed, right? Maybe you're going for one drink and you're like, we're doing it tonight. And what was the last one I had here? Now I just moved from it. Oh, having a plan. You know, like going into it knowing, okay, I'm going to have a drink or two. and being okay with your, like having a plan you want to follow, so that you don't feel like you are out of control or, you know, past a point, so that at the end of the evening you're like, oh, that was a total bust and I feel awful and all that kind of stuff, right? Kind of go in with a plan. So anything you guys want to talk about with alcohol?
No, I thought it was interesting that when she talked about as we get age,
Yeah.
and you feel, you know, we always call it the hangover. You feel worse when you drink, and that's exactly why I don't really drink that much, because I do feel worse, and I want to get up and be able to do things. So
Right.
yeah, thought that was
Yeah, you think
interesting.
about like, yeah, you're like, okay, well, I have a lot of stuff to get done the next day. Do I want to feel like crap trying to get it done?
Exactly.
Or not?
Yeah. So I looked it up. So that CSCS, which was his title, is a certified strength and conditioning specialist.
Oh,
That's what his title stands for. And
well,
it basically says they're professionals who apply scientific knowledge to train athletes for the primary goal of improving athletic performance. So that's what he does. Interesting.
interesting. Okay. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome. All right, so then let's switch gears to collagen. So I kind of waited a little bit long. So each month this year we have a product of the month to talk about, and collagen is one of those things I started taking as soon as we put it in our lineup, because I've always had a hard time, like my nails are thinner and I do have dip on my nails. But like they would be so thin, it was awful. I would break all kinds of things. So that was one thing I wanted to implement, and our collagen is for hair, skin, and nails primarily. But with our R&D department, they recently did some more studies where they also said if you take 2 scoops of our collagen, that helps with tendons and ligaments. So just to back up a slight bit here, there are 3 types of collagen in the marketplace in the world. Type 1 is a hair, skin, and nails. Type 2 is joints. And type 3 is where that ligament tendon piece comes in. So I don't know exactly the sourcing, if those sources are like, I know our hair, skin, and nails, the type 1 and type 3 come from bovine hides. I don't know, like, is it a different part of the cow that the type 2 comes from? I'm not totally sure on that, like if where the sourcing is. So if we can get more in depth in that, if that's a, you know, question we have. But basically, so our collagen is for that type 1, type 3. So it's not used with joints, but some people have found that they've, you know, feel a difference in their joints. But if joint is your issue, you will want a type 2 collagen. And that tends to have, type 2 tends to be a higher amount of protein in it, I know, on the powders. So one of the things that you would see different in your skin is collagen helps it kind of regenerate for a younger look. So less wrinkles, fine lines, brighter skin, helps with the nails and becoming stronger. And then you're seeing differences in aging, and stress effects on you.
How long does it take to see those changes?
You know, nails and hair are not fast growing things necessarily. So it's one of those things where collagen is something you want to take consistently. And I would say you're at least a month out before you're really, because you're having, it's the new stuff coming in, right? So you may notice your hair growing more, like faster. Like that's what I've noticed before. I know my nails are stronger, but it's like after a month, I'm not sure I noticed that. You know what I mean? So it take a little longer for that new nail to get in. And you can also do, you know, like if you're in the habit of, like, if you like bone broth, that's another way to get collagen in, right? You can have a cup of bone broth a day. That has a lot of benefits.
Because for a while I took from the vitamin shop collagen peptides.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yep,
which
same
one
thing.
it was.
Same thing.
I took it for months. I saw nothing.
So when I wonder I wonder what type it was. Was it marketed for hair, skin, and nails, or was it marketed for joints?
I didn't really read it. Well,
Yeah.
and
And
then
maybe at the
another one-
time, depending on how long ago it was, maybe it wasn't that detailed even. I don't know what
yeah.
past marketing was like, right, for collagen.
And then once I was taken, I don't know if it's the same thing, that conjoinant, I forget what the whole name is. Conjoinant something. It's supposed to be for joints.
Is that like CoQ10 type thing?
It might be.
Okay. Yeah, that would be for joints.
And
Yeah.
it didn't do anything. So I gave up. I said, I'm not going to take all this stuff if it's not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're not feeling a difference, for sure. One of the things to look at too is the quality of the products you're getting. You know what I mean? Like the supplement industry is one of those things that's not super regulated. So there can be fillers and products that are not as great. One of the things that they talk about our collagen is that it is a single ingredient. So it's pure collagen peptides. There are no fillers, there's no sweeteners, there's nothing added to it.
But what is it actually?
Collagen, it's I don't think it would be described as a protein, but it's like a piece of a protein, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like something that can be in proteins, but I don't think it's considered a protein.
Okay.
Even though like the powder, like the joint powder has protein, like when you're looking at the nutrition label, it says like 20 grams of protein for 1 scoop. So that's its primary makeup. But that's, yeah, I don't have any more detail on that one.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah. It is, there are now some sources that are from seaweed, so you can get it vegan, but primarily it tends to come from cows.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so the collagen that we have too has also been studied I thought this was fascinating. So our collagen helps our body create its own collagen. So sometimes when you take collagen, it's just added collagen, but our collagen actually stimulates our body to create its own collagen, to help itself with the collagen creation, because we can create collagen. Just sometimes we're not creating enough, and as we get older, we create less. Like everything, I feel like it's the story of
there's that age thing again.
It's like every single thing we create less. So yeah, so we're trying to work through that.
Great.
And then this one is like no taste, it just dissolves in anything. So super easy. I add it to either Energize or my shakes, or easy breezy.
Is it okay to add it to anything? Like
Anything.
I used to put it in my coffee, and I had stomach aches for years before I had surgery. So in the fall, when I was taking it last year, I was like, I have a stomach ache, and I stopped taking it. So I still have some, but I'm like, was it okay to put in my coffee?
Yeah. Yep. You can put it in hot, cold, anything.
I should try again.
It won't react with anything. And I noticed when I put it in my Energize and shake it, it gets foamy. So, but that's it. I mean, it just gets a little foamy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
So
try again.
Yeah. See, yeah. Any questions about collagen? I feel like I think I covered all of it.
And I haven't put it in my shakes because I thought, well, the shake has everything in it. Like I shouldn't add anything to this. So
yeah. And it's really just kind of where you're at with things. If you feel like I just kind of I feel like my hair, I'm going to be one of those people that it's going to start thinning as I get older. So it's like I'm starting on the collagen now because my nails are already thinner in general. And so, yeah, I think it has to, I mean, some people have collagen levels that are just fine and don't see, you know what I mean? Hair, skin, and nails are great. And, may not be necessary. But it's one of those ways, like I kind of look at it's, a lot of times we're trying to do topical things, but if we just if we really focus on the nutrition we're giving ourselves these macro micronutrients, adding in the collagen, it's from the inside out, right? Then you're not having to go do maybe the fillers or the stuff as soon or whatever, you know, whatever you feel like you need to do.
I'm feeling like I need it just sitting here looking at like, ugh.
Well, that's why, yeah, you always got to have the camera angle, you know, like up here. I feel like if I hold my phone too low, then yeah, I got that too.
Wear a turtleneck.
I would prefer we just let people age and not like be so worried about every little piece, but
yeah, my son's girlfriend told me last year that she knew where to get Botox. And I'm like,
oh yeah, they start young now.
I'm not old. Thank you. I'm not old.
Like people in their 20s are getting it even. Like they see any little difference and they're getting it right away. And I'm like, I don't even want to start down that train because it's like you got to keep doing it.
You do.
Yeah.
And you know, and then that one chance you get somebody that does something wrong, and then you know, do some weird botched eye
like this.
Right? I'm like, I'll just stick to the collagen and the vegetables.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, good.
My eyebrows look weird enough when I trim up, when I pluck them. Like I don't need to do anything weird.
So any questions about anything nutrition? We can kind of open it up, and if anybody wants to chat about whatever. Kathy, we should have had your update about how helpful last week's call was on when we were recording.
Yeah, that's right.
So how are you doing those things this week? Like how?
Well, I just, you know, now when I sat down with my notes from last week, I'm reading it and going, aha, that's the problem. The stress, the sleep, snacking, you know, everything. So maybe I'll start tomorrow being good.
Love it. You're good already. It's just you're just gonna, you know,
following more rules.
Yeah.
Because I was tracking and everything those first 5 days, and then I guess what I have to do is not get on the scale every day. I know that.
Yeah, if that's a thing for you, then I would say definitely not. Like you just have to continue with the habit without any kind of reinforcement. Like, because you look at like the weight loss as a reward, right? Yeah. But it's also a strike against you if it goes up. So so if you can get on the scale and not have that emotional right or wrong happening, then it's fine. But if you're getting on the scale and you're like, okay, well now this kind of ruins my day or makes my day, so now I'm going to either have an extra cookie or do whatever or change something, then you're really not getting ingrained in the actual habits to get you there. You're getting a you know, reward or punishment from the scale.
Yeah. Like if I had waited the whole week to get on the scale, it would be down and I wouldn't have seen the up and down all week. But I want to see it go down every day.
But that's not even like going to happen, right? Because our body decides what days we lose weight, and it may lose an amount the day before and then be like, okay, we're going to stay steady here. Or maybe we'll hold on to something quick and then we'll let it go again.
Yeah.
I don't like what would happen. Why don't you use this as an experiment? What would happen if you didn't weigh yourself for like 3 weeks?
Oh, 3 weeks.
Too much? Okay.
1 week.
Okay, let's just start with 1 week. What if we start with 1 week?
Let's do 1 week.
I do it every day too, though. I do it every day.
But as long as it's not emotionally impacting or changing what you do, then I think that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like not changing, like you use it as a metric, not as a you were good or bad. You know, because
I do. I mean, I do the same. I do the same because when I'm down, I'm like, oh yeah, I can have a cookie. And I know when I had a cookie, like, oh, I was up 2 pounds. Like
when I'm down, I can be good and go, okay, it's going.
Oh, so then you're like, it's working, so I'm going to stick to it.
I keep doing it. But it's the day that it goes up, you go, come on, I was doing it and it goes up anyway. Then why bother doing it? Let me just eat. Yeah. That's what I got it. That's the way I work, and it's not good.
Well, Crystal, maybe it'd be a good experiment for you too, then, to like just not do it for a while and focus on what what you want to do each day, right? Like whatever habit you're working to create, be like, that's my focus. And then, let it be what it is.
Maybe.
Crystal, do you think you could stay off the scale for a week?
I don't think so. And I don't really care, right? Like it irritates me, but my weight has not changed at all. At all. Like it hasn't changed at all. I do something and it doesn't matter. When we did gut protocol, it doesn't matter. It went down maybe 5 pounds and then it stays exactly the same. Like I'll go up and down 2 or 3 pounds, but it stays exactly the same.
Are you where you want to be weight-wise?
No. I mean, I'm not bad, but yeah, I would like to lose, 20 or 30 pounds, but it's not horrible. I don't feel like I'm humongous or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have more of a belly than I want, but I
Yeah.
think that's surgery related. So
Yeah. It's age too.
yeah.
And
We do store a little more fat around our mid.
gravity takes its toll. I had 2 C-sections. It's like, and my husband tells me, don't worry about that. He says, you're not going to do that with diet and exercise. You're going to need surgery. And I'm like, I don't want surgery. He says, you don't have surgery. You're okay. I'm like, I'm not okay. I look in the mirror and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I can't change it. I've already had a tummy tuck. So
Oh, you did? And you still
well,
have a
I mean,
tummy?
I had a hernia. I had multiple surgeries in 2020 and 2021. And the last one was a hernia repair from the first surgery. And I got a tummy tuck, but now I have my belly button is about 2 inches over to the side. And I have a scar from about 2 inches above my belly button all the way down to, my.
But is your belly flat from the tummy tuck?
No.
No. Well, then they didn't do a good
I had a
job.
much flatter tummy before. That's what I
Really?
said. I think it's from,
Yeah, maybe you had some scar tissue or something happen in there. Yeah.
That's not good.
I mean, it's not like I'm, rolly or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I have muscle. I can feel muscle under there, but it just kind of, arcs out.
Yeah.
But I think it's more from them cutting the muscles all the way up. So
Oh, maybe. I wonder, is there something with what's the word? The diastasis recti.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because there are exercises you can do to help try to, make everything meld back together again.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's another surgery, depending on how severe it is. Yeah. Probably don't want that.
No, I think I'm good up until right above my belly button, like the diastasis recti.
Yeah.
Recti. Yeah. I think I'm good. But above my belly button, just a couple inches, I think that's the only spot. And I don't know. I have to be really careful. Like when we were working out with Joel, when he did the leg,
Yes.
like I watch it really careful. Don't want to push my legs too much.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be a fascinating little experiment for you guys to get off the scale for a little bit, just to see how you feel about it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I gotta pick a day.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
Doesn't it?
Report back.
Yeah.
I think you two should accept that challenge.
I don't know. I think once I started looking at like myself as an experiment versus something that needed to be fixed, right? It's a different way of going at things.
Different mindset. Yeah.
And you don't have this harshness toward yourself. You're like, okay, well, clearly I'm having a hard time executing, X, Y, and Z. So why? Why is that hard for me? And then it's like, okay, how can I figure this out? Because I'm naturally like a problem solver for other people, right? Like they'll tell me a problem and I'm like, okay, well, here's how we're going to fix it versus, so it's like using that same thing on yourself. Like, okay, well, maybe I need to make it easier for me to do this habit, or like, nutrition related. Maybe I need to have groceries in the house that work. I need to meal prep a few things. I need to plan to eat out this night because it's always crazy. And here's what I can eat out and it works, right? Like just having something that like helps you to better whatever it is you're trying to change. Using yourself as an experiment. I think sometimes we worry about that, because then we're like, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what you're doing now isn't necessarily working, right?
Right.
You're not there. So
Yeah.
what if you learn something about yourself and then it gets easier, it gets better, or you can change
Yeah.
something?
All right. So March 1st. I have to have a date. March
Okay.
1st.
Okay. March 1st.
I'm writing this down.
Is that Monday, March 1st? When is?
No, I
wait a
think
minute.
that's a Thursday, right? No, Tuesday.
Something like that.
Wednesday.
Wednesday
Today's
is
the
March
24th,
1st.
so can't be far.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wednesday is-
what's going to happen on March 1st?
So I won't weigh on March 1st.
Okay.
You
3
won't
weeks.
weigh on March 1st for 3 weeks.
Woo!
Okay.
All
3
right.
weeks. 3 weeks?
Wow.
You're good. I'm only
Okay,
whatever I
Kathy, you're
start
gonna
is-
go for 1 week.
I'm gonna go for 1 week. I'm just not sure which day I'm gonna do the weigh-in. I gotta
Okay.
see.
Well, let us know. Throw it in the chat.
Pick a day that you normally would feel good about things. Don't set yourself
Mhm.
up for like, like don't pick a Saturday if you know Friday nights you always go out to eat.
Well, we're having a dinner here on Saturday, so I figure I'll weigh Saturday morning.
That'd be
Yes.
I'll
perfect.
do all the measurements.
Perfect.
Then don't do it till the next Saturday,
Yeah.
or I'll do it Thursday
Yeah.
because we have this meeting Thursday.
There you go. You could do it Thursday morning.
Yeah, so
Thursday morning, before you eat
it'll
eat
be
or drink
Saturday, Sunday,
anything.
Monday, Tuesday, so it'll be like 5 days, 6 days, whatever it is, 5 days.
You can do it, Kathy.
Yeah.
We have faith in you.
Christina, do you want to get in on this? Do you have any challenges for yourself? Something you want to experiment with?
Yeah, I should probably get on it too. I weigh myself every day.
See?
So
And
yeah,
again, if you are aware and you're okay with
Mhm.
it, it's okay. But if it is messing with your mind, then maybe it's like, let's just give it a break and focus on the habits you're working to change versus the results you're looking to get. Right? Because that's what
well,
you're changing.
it does kind of mess with my mind because it like if I'm down, then I feel good about myself that day. But if I'm up, then I feel bad about myself that day. And I shouldn't
Yeah.
let that determine my
But
mood
it
for the day.
does.
Your
So that's why
happiness. Yeah. I
It
haven't weighed
does.
myself in I don't even know, like maybe 4 months.
Wow.
I'm just
Mhm.
kind of like over it because I'm like, it doesn't, my weight is like inconsequential. It's how I feel in my clothes. It's how I feel about myself when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's all of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll share something. So you guys know I'm doing the ultimate reset and I'm in week 3 right now. So my final day will be Sunday. And I have weighed in every Monday morning because my goal, yes, I want to lose a couple pounds, but that's not my ultimate goal. My goal was to get off the sugar. And so I'm using this 3 weeks to stop all the sugar. And the losing the weight can be a bonus. So I don't need to step on the scale because I don't want to know what it is every day, So maybe figure out like that's my goal. So maybe is there a goal that you guys are striving for that might help not step on that scale every day?
I think
Yeah,
mine
like-
is I have the muscle in my scale, and I want to see it go up. Like
Yes.
why doesn't it go
Mhm.
up?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my
it
thing.
is hard to do. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
And especially as we get older, it's even harder to create muscle. Now, like if you are like doing all of the exact things right, women can maybe put on a half a pound of muscle a month. So, you know what I mean? So what you have to concentrate on is lifting as heavy as you can in your workouts and getting enough protein. Prioritizing protein is key.
Yeah.
So if you, and we talked, I can't remember I'll have to look up what call we talked about this, but basically you want to be around a gram of protein for your weight. So whatever your weight is
Mhm.
equals a gram of protein. And that's what you want your daily intake to be protein wise. So it's going to be slightly higher than if you were following Portion Fix, like Portion Fix 30% protein. And when I did the math on myself, making sure I had 1 gram of protein per 1 gram of weight, it put me around 36% protein. Okay, so it's not an extreme amount. It's, you know, but it's a little more than on Portion Fix. And so for me, that was just adding in Recover. If I did Recover every day, that was enough of a bump of protein. So like, let's say I followed Portion Fix and got my 30% in, plus a Recover scoop, then I was right there in the goals.
So it's a gram of protein per pound of
Per
weight?
pound that you weigh. Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm 165-ish, somewhere in there. Again, haven't weighed myself in a while. And so, yeah, so 165 grams of protein.
that's a lot of protein.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what did you have, like, basically on a day? What's a sample day?
Oh,
just
well, that's just
protein.
having, I mean, that's just having, like, if you're talking Portion Fix, I think I
Yeah.
have 5 reds.
Okay.
I think I have 5 reds. So those are roughly 20 grams if you're eating quality proteins, right? Like if you're eating something that's lower on the list, then because a red is usually between 12 and 20 grams. If you're eating lean chicken, ground turkey, fish, something up there, you're going to get that 20 grams. Timber. You're going to get that 20 grams per red. And then you'll have, you add in Recover. I'm going to go let her out of my room really quick. Okay.
So
Does that make sense?
if you didn't add Recover, let's say, because I don't have Recover, would you just do an extra red?
Yeah, yes. Yes. And then you also have to know that like your broccoli has protein. If you're using a bean-based pasta, that's got protein. Depending,
So you count
all these
of them.
other things have proteins also. So the whole scheme of things gets you up there. So it's not just the actual meat or tofu or whatever you're eating.
Okay.
It's the whole day. And the way Portion Fix is centered, right? If you're doing those top third, you are getting like the closest match for each container.
Okay.
Nutrient wise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so if you really want to see that change, then I would focus on going heavy and the protein.
Yeah. I need to work on it. Horrible about meal prepping.
It is one of those things. I mean, even as long as I've been doing this, it's like I'll walk in the kitchen and be like, I don't have anything ready.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I'm a leftover gal. So just whatever's in the fridge, as long as there's leftovers, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I'm just eating
Well,
it.
that's good though, because then you can, hopefully, if you have them, then it's great, right? Because you don't let things go to waste, and then you just have to focus on making sure there's some leftovers, huh?
Just nobody else in my house wants to eat what I want to eat or what I should be eating.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
And Christina, like I was thinking about what you were talking about,
Mhm.
That whole feeling good or bad. And I'm trying to, like, I have a lot of those thoughts too, right? Like, oh, I'm doing good at
Mhm.
this, or today is a bad day. And I
Yeah.
try to think of it now as either I'm following the plan and that's awesome, or I didn't follow the plan and let's figure out why. Let's figure out how to
Right.
help myself versus getting on myself, right? Or being mad.
Right.
Let's figure out, okay, why didn't that work out today? What
Right.
happened in my day that, I could have changed or done better
Mhm.
to make it happen? You're an experiment.
That's really good. Thank you.
It's going to be a good week.
It is. It's going to be an
It's going to be an
amazing
interesting week.
And even if it doesn't go 100%, you guys are going to learn something that you can take away with you to make that next week have, I mean, that's what we, we always have that quip, progress, not perfection. And that's really what it is. I mean, no one decides like, I'm going to live this lifestyle and instantly they can do it all 100%. And we may never get to 100% of what we think an ideal is. And that's okay. It's realizing that each time, if you take a step forward and kind of realize what works for you and how you can work it better, you're ahead.
Mm-hmm. Deanna, this group is so good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I
You're
look
welcome.
forward to it.
I think it helps so much just to talk things through.
It does.
Well, good. Well, gosh, we're almost out of time already. Okay, so let's see. March 5th is our next meal prep class. And I need to get on it to figure out what we're eating. I need to find some good recipes. That's always my favorite, looking up all the recipes to figure out what to make. And then I can't remember what tomorrow is for our Funky Friday. Do you remember, Sue?
No, I don't.
Well,
Yes,
she's
But I
pulling
will
it up.
Lily always knows.
And then tomorrow, well, every Friday we're trying to have like a consistent, if you want to work out together time. And so we've been doing like a lunchtime. So 10 Pacific, 11 Central, no, sorry, noon Central, 1 Eastern. Just to gather up, and yeah, we can do the same workout or we can do a different workout, but at the same time. We've just been kind of, we used to do this when Jared would have his rides at 10 o'clock every Friday on Pacific time. And so then we'd all get on together and we'd ride with Jared. And the other day we were like, gosh, I just missed that Friday time when we'd all see each other and there'd be way more of us on at the same time. And so we decided to start doing it again. And so sometimes it, some people might be picking a ride together, but all are welcome. All workouts are welcome. It's really just a time to get on Zoom and chat and say hi and, get a little sweat on.
It is noon Central, because I was thinking it was 11, which is a little early for me, but
I think noon
I can do
Central, because
noon.
it's 10 o'clock my time, so Pacific, and then
It's-
1 o'clock
yeah.
Eastern. Yeah.
1 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is Aloha Day
Oh, aloha. Oh, that's right, because Lily's in Hawaii.
because
So
Lily's in Hawaii.
we're dressing for
Yeah.
Lily tomorrow. So
Yeah.
you can take your sweaty selfie and throw in some hibiscus flowers in your picture or put a filter on
Mhm.
your Hawaiian shirt. Whatever sounds good. And then one last piece. So we have a book club starting in March where we're going to be reading The Perfection Detox together. So I have a chat going for that. It's just going to be in this chat, I called it the book club chat. So what'll happen is as we'll kind of try to read a chapter a day for weekdays. And then every couple days I'll throw in maybe a prompt to talk about it. But as you're reading through the chapters, feel free to mark in there, hey, chapter 1's done. And, to give a little takeaway, something you took from that chapter would be great. And then that will encourage us all to keep reading each day and to give our takeaways. But if anybody wants to be in that group, just let your coach know and they can get you in there. Yeah, and then it'll be fun.
Do you know if there's a PDF along with the book?
I
Have
heard,
you looked?
yeah, how do we normally, sometimes they'll give you a website, right, after you've purchased the book?
Yeah.
I'll look into that
Yeah.
because somebody said there was a PDF, I thought.
Because I know some of them have it and some of them don't.
Let's see.
So I didn't know if this one, yeah, see, this one says accompanying PDF. So let me see. I just looked up one that I knew for sure
Like
had
in
one.
Audible, it told you there's an accompanying.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
hers does not.
And I wonder if we can go to her website.
Yeah, I'll do some research as well
Yeah,
to see,
let's
because
do
that would
that.
be
We can
nice to know if
We
there
can always
was
throw
one.
it into the group too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how you even find that.
Well, I could tell you, so I'm listening to the 5 levels of leadership. And if you go into, like, if you go to the 3 dots that are at the top
Yeah.
corner, it tells you accompanying PDF in the drop down.
Okay. So if I'm in my library, 3. Okay, so I don't have anything that says accompanying PDF on
Yeah,
mine.
not for hers. So
Not for
maybe
her.
she's going to direct us to a website for
Okay.
it instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was gonna start it a day early, so I'm a day
Okay.
ahead to make up the prompts.
Yeah, just to, and if we find one, then we'll post it.
Yeah, we can share it in there.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Well, have a great night. Kathy, stay off your scale.
Okay.
Get yourself a post-it note that says something really awesome wherever your scale is. If it's in your bathroom, get yourself a post-it note. And you don't need that. You're beautiful without this scale, whatever. Add something
Yes.
in there.
I'll have to
Take the
move it.
batteries out. Just take
Yeah.
the batteries
Gary,
out.
hide it. I don't know.
I mean,
I'll have to move it.
Yeah,
You're so
just hide
nervous.
it.
You're nervous, Crystal?
Crystal, you can put up a couple because you're going for 3 weeks. You could put up a couple post-it notes. Make sure you got
Mhm.
a couple different places. Maybe have one
I
of your
might
kids
wimp
with you
out.
and put it somewhere.
I
3
might
weeks
wimp
is a
out.
long
She only did a week.
Crystal, 3 weeks is a long time. Why don't you do 1
Let's-
week?
We don't have any
Aw.
comparison. We don't have any comparison. We all start in
No.
different places.
I know.
You've got this. You
It's
guys can
right
do
in the
it.
bathroom. Like I take my pajamas off and I lay them right there on the side of the tub, and my scale is right there. So yeah, I'll have to move it because it's
Yeah.
just habit.
Mhm.
Put it out with the chickens.
Yeah. Then I won't bring it back in the house.
Well, that's okay too.
That's good.
All right.
right,
Yeah,
ladies.
can't
I'm
wait to
outta
see
here.
what everybody's doing next week.
All right.
Okay,
We'll see you
bye-bye.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay.